All right, so I'm going to go ahead and record. And so remember, today's date is what's today's date? October 19th. So we're doing page 22. I believe we're on 22. Okay. So go ahead and do page 22. We're going to do a few problems. Okay. So this one's going to be called distributed property. And then we're going to call it advanced. And remember, today's date is October 19th. Okay, so make sure you put October 19th, which is a Monday. Okay, so go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, October 19th. Okay, we're only going to do a few, and on Wednesday you'll have your assignment. So go ahead and do that real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. All right. So one of the things you remember, it's called distributive property. So a lot of kids want to do this. They want to add 5 plus 3. But remember, you're not supposed to do that because it's 3 parentheses. So you have to make sure you do the parentheses first. You see that right here? You have to go ahead and do distributive property because you're distributing the 3. You're multiplying the 3 with the expression inside the parentheses. So we're going to go ahead and do the arrows. Okay, the first one, which is positive times negative is negative. And then 3 times 2x is what? 6x. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do the next one. Positive times negative. Again, that's negative. See how it stays the same? The sign stays the same whenever you multiply with the positive. And then 3 times 1 is 3. All right? Now, what happens to this 5? What happens, Amber? What happens to the 5?
It stays the same.
Yeah, you drop it down. It stays the same. You see that? Now, look at this one. Negative, negative. All right? So negative, oh, that's a positive. So then you go ahead and write a positive, and then you drop down the positive 3. See that? So now, what do? Now, all I'm going to do is combine like terms with the t-chart. Okay, so let's see. Let's do the one with the x first. So negative 6x. Is there any other negative 6x? No, so I leave it alone. See that, Frank? So you have to do this work. Then you could do it in your mind. I want to see the second step. Now, what about here? I got the 5, the constant, the negative 3, and the plus 5. So let's do the t-chart. All right, so let's go ahead and do a t-chart. So the 5 is in the positive, the 3 is in the negative, and the 3 is in the positive. So you got a total of 8. So I'm going to go ahead and redo it again. So I got 8 and 3. So here, what do we do? Or what's the answer? There are positive, more positive, but by how many? By 5. All right. So what do we do? Distributive property. Okay. And then drop down to plus 3. Combine like terms. So I'm going to combine the 5, the negative 3. You could do that if you want. All right. And then do your t-chart. And then there's your answer. Okay. Negative 6x plus 5. So Elijah, what's your answer? So on the second problem, remember, distributive property is usually with the parentheses, okay? So here we have parentheses. So go ahead and read the whole expression. So negative negative 3x. Oh, wait, that's a positive because negative times a negative, that's a positive. So I'm going to go ahead and write positive 3x. Now negative 3 times, oh, mister, that right here. Here's another distributive property right there up to the parentheses. What about plus negative 9? No, nothing. So you just drop that down. So all you have to now do is work with your distributive property, right? Your arrow or your boxes. Now, some people did boxes. which is great. -3, and then remember length times width, and they did that. So here you have negative times negative, that's going to be a positive. 3 times 4x is 12x. Okay, negative times a positive, right? You're distributing the -3 is a negative, and 3 times 2 is 6. Remember, you have to drop everything down. So now what do we do? Yeah, combine like what? Jacob, combine like what? Current term. So the t-chart. So which one are you going to combine with the 3x, Amber? Which one are you going to combine with the 3x?
The 12x.
The 12x. Very good. So that's 3x plus 12x. That's easy. That's what? 15x. See that? And then what am I going to combine the negatives? Well, obviously the constant. So I could do this. I could do a box. -6 plus a -9. Remember, that's not positive. Negative and negative is not a positive. Only when you multiply. So we're going to do again, combine like term with the t-chart. So what do we have? Okay, we have here, okay, -6 and a -9. And what's my answer, Alejandra? What's your answer with that?
-15.
Yes, very good, -15. So there's your answer. See what I'm doing? Okay, you could have done the arrows, and that's fine. Okay, that's fine. All right, got it? So again, negative negative is a positive. Distributive property. Remember, distributive property means multiplication, and then plus -9. So you bring everything down, combine like terms, and then the constant with the constant, the coefficient variable with the coefficient variable, and then bam, you're all right. So now in number 3, again, you have to read the whole thing. All right. So we got 5y plus -3y minus 4 times -3, right here. So you have a parentheses, but you got all this um, distributive property right here. Okay. So then what do we need to do right here? Okay. This is your distributive property right there. Okay. So negative times negative is a positive. 4 times 3y is 12y. Okay. Negative times a negative is also positive. Zoom in. Zoom out. Okay. And then negative times a negative is a positive. And then 4 times 6 is 24. Now, what do we do with everything else? Well, if you look at it, there's nothing here, right? So there's nothing there with the plus -2. So all we have to do is drop it down. What about the 5y? Well, no, there's no negative negative, so 5y, drop it down, plus -3y. So now go ahead and combine like terms. So what do we combine? Right? All the y's. So we got 5y, -3y, 12y. So what's that? So I'm going to go ahead and do a t-chart. So 5y is in the positive. Okay. 3y is in the negative. 12y is in the positive. So here in the positive, I have actually 17 y's. And then still 3 y's. So what would my answer be there? Justin, what would my answer be for this, the y's? How many y's would I have? You know? So your answer would be positive 14y. And then what about see, I'm going to do 2 lines. So that means I'm going to take care of the constants. So another T-chart, 24 and -2. That's positive, what? Well, we don't add them, right? We have to take away, so positive 22. So there's my answer, 14y plus 22. So what did I do? So first off, go ahead and I did the distributive property, okay? Right, the 5y stays by itself, the -3y stays by itself, the plus -2, you're not multiplying with anything, stays by itself, and then go ahead and combine like terms. The y's, and then the constant, and then that's it. Okay, so far so good. So that's problem number 3. Okay, all right, so the next one we're doing is number 4. Okay, if you ever want to stop it, you could go ahead and stop it. So remember, on this one, it's 5 times -3x plus 4y minus 2. And then minus 3 times. So remember when there's a parentheses, all right? -3 times all this. So what you're doing is you're doing distributive property. So there's 2 in 1, all right? So let's do the first one. Okay, so the first one is this one, second, and then the third. You see that? So here we go. Let's do the first one. So positive times negative is negative. 5 times 3x is 15x. Positive times positive is positive. All the arrows. 5 times 4y is 21. See that? And then positive times negative is negative. See, it stays the same. Whenever you multiply by a positive, the sign stays the same. And then 5 times 2 is 10. Okay? Then the next one we're going to do is we're going to distribute the -3. Remember, it's a negative. Negative. And remember, when you multiply a negative by anything, it changes the sign. Okay? So negative times negative. See, this negative is now going to be positive because negative times negative is positive. Negative times positive is negative. See? Changes the sign. And then negative times negative is positive. See, whenever you multiply by a negative, it always changes the sign. So now 3 times 2x, 6x. 3 times 2y, 6y. And 3 times 8, anybody? 3 times 8, 24. Okay? All right, so go ahead and write that real quick. 24, 24. All right, so we're going to go ahead and now combine like terms, right? Terms using the T-chart. So the -15x, Elijah, what am I going to combine that with? The negative with the 6x. That's it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do one of the T-charts, -15x plus 6x. And my answer is going to be negative because I got more negatives.